Right. Okay. Are we taking bets on how many times I fuck up the intro?
I'm going to say you're going to nail it the second time.
I think you might be alright the first time because you were out of practice last time.
Oh. Is that why here? He's been quiet.
Hello.
Oh, okay.
I'm just spying, like in the game. Listening in.
That mute can talk.
Yeah, that was weird. Okay.
Wait, before we start, do you have any clips or something I need to put into this episode? Like the last 2 episodes?
Hey,
Oh, what was the other one?
Sorry, it was the game of the year.
it's game of the year, and hell yeah, Kate Sith.
Just put that one in again.
So, any clips
No.
I need to know about?
No.
Good? Okay.
No.
Can you just put
double
that
check.
Kate Sif clip in again?
No, I cannot. I do not want to make Alex sad with more heiress death.
Well, that entire scene just makes me sad all the time.
Brothers and sisters, welcome to the Not So Super Bash presents Game Club for February 2017. Yes, Game Club is back, our video podcast review thing, where we take turns picking games, play them for the month, and come back and discuss them for your listening pleasure. This month we played Beholder, the communist-themed property management game, and as always, I am your host, Nick Stalin. Joined as ever by Hans Lennon,
About you.
Alex Guevara,
How you doing?
and at the risk of sounding racist, IY Mao.
You failed.
Jesus Christ.
Kim Jong-il.
The other one was IY Il-jong, but then, like, I don't know. Maybe that would have been too far.
Oh, that would have been too hard.
So how is everyone?
yeah. I'm a bit of a cold, but good.
No, okay, no one else going to answer. Go fuck yourselves.
No, sorry, did you ask a question? I wasn't listening.
Yay, Game Club.
Yay!
Yes, February was IY's choice, and he picked Beholder, the communist-themed property management game by Warm Lamp Games, released in November 2016. In Beholder, you are assigned as the landlord of an apartment block in a communist, non-Pacific communist regime, and you control Carl Steen, who must make the right choices to appease his family, his government, and his tenants in order to not be deemed a traitor to the country. IY, why did you pick Beholder?
Point 1 for why I picked Beholder was that I knew Hans would dislike it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
But I wanted to pick a game that was... I love the setting of it, and I wanted to sort of see how it would play on that setting. You know, usually you're part of, like, you know, the bigger picture. It's very much like the War of Mine, where like there's this thing going on that's bigger than you, but you're just playing the little guy who's just trying to get by. And so I thought the setting was the main draw for me.
Yeah, cool. Because as you said, I think before at the end of the last episode, it was very Papers, Please-esque.
Yeah, it has that kind of vibe to it.
I am a huge fan of that game. I really like that game. And should probably actually go replay that. I haven't played it at all.
Well, thankfully in this game you don't get arrested for misfiling paperwork. You just get fined a lot.
Yeah, well.
I got fined quite a bit.
Okay. So, we'll discuss, as always, how far did everyone get into the game? Because I played it twice and failed the first time, like a couple of times, and then kind of like, alright, I'm going to start again. And then on my second playthrough, I actually did, like, beat the game. Like, saw an ending. Hans?
Hour and a half.
Didn't finish the game then, though.
Nope. Put
Why?
that shit back down.
Why
'Cause I
not?
didn't like it.
Why?
The system works.
But wait. There's no point asking me why, because we'll get into why later on. like when we get to review.
But Hans, you didn't finish the game.
Yeah, didn't finish Alan Wake 2. Guess what? Because I didn't like it.
Alex?
I finished it on my 7th attempt.
Can't believe you played the game 7 times.
Well, like, the game kept making me restart. It's a pain in the ass.
Like, because you got stuck, or like because of bugs?
Because the game bloody bugged out.
Yeah, Alex had like a really weird amount of bugs, and I tried to like look these bugs up, and I think I maybe found like 1 or 2, which were maybe like
Yeah, the bloody don't exist because I looked them up as well.
yeah, I found it's only Alex.
Yeah, we're just convinced Alex has a broken computer.
No, I hit at least 2 bugs.
Well,
So-
I'll give you a list later on, and you can tell me what also happened to you.
Sweet,
So,
sounds good.
and how far did you get?
I finished it. I didn't get a good
On what
ending,
attempt?
but I finished it.
Just on your first attempt, or on what?
Probably my second, I would say, because I did restart it at one point.
Yeah. So, as always, I've broken this down into 3 categories for us to talk about. Those categories are the gameplay, the aesthetic of the game, because there kind of wasn't enough to kind of split it into music and like looks. And the final category is like personal stories, like stuff that some of us may, or like one of us will have seen, like just due to weird AI behaviors or some things happening at the same time that probably shouldn't have. And like that's where we can talk about Alex's myriad of issues. So to kick things off, we'll talk about the gameplay, which the core gameplay of the game is kind of your task with like there are quests you get occasionally, but the main gameplay hooks are spying on your tenants in the building, whether that be like installing cameras in their apartments or sneaking into their apartments while they're not there and like rummaging through all their stuff to like learn more about them. And personally, there were times where the gameplay I thought was really like it was fun. The bigger issue was there was just not a lot of reason to do a lot. So because I felt that like there were large sections of the game where I was kind of just fast forwarding, waiting for the next like story beat to come through, like waiting for the next phone call to actually like say, all right, here's a quest to do. You've got this guy coming in, whatever. But like the core
You
gameplay,
didn't spend your free time planting evidence and getting people arrested?
like for the kind of a couple of times I did, but then I realized if you just install cameras, everyone does something illegal eventually.
Yeah,
Like,
you're
there
not
are a
allowed
few
to read
times
books.
Yeah,
That-
like
I got so
eventually
many
a
people
directive
that.
comes in where people can't read or own books, and fucking everyone in your apartment starts reading books. So you can just get them all arrested super easily. So, but like apart from some issues with it, where like at a point you didn't really need to do anything, I thought the idea of the gameplay was actually pretty good.
I feel like the money system in it is way too harsh. Like it feels like you just can't get enough for anything early on. Like it starts to get to a stage end game where you're rolling in the money and you don't need it, but at the start you need it and you can't get it. And I think that's a bit odd. It's like you can try and get it. You can do all different kinds of things. You can steal, you can blackmail, you can do all that. But you just can't get enough.
Did you file reports on people?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Because I had the same issue. Like, I just didn't have a lot of money for equipment or for whatever. But then, just through kind of like fucking about, I found out, yeah, you can get money by cashing reports on people, and then the more detailed the report, the more cash you get. But I was sitting there wondering, why wasn't this shown to me in the tutorial section that you have? Like, this would have been very handy to know.
Well, no, that is covered in the tutorial. 'Cause
It tells you.
File
you get a
the
phone
report?
call. You get a phone call
Yeah.
to like telling you to file a report on this guy.
I never
But
did.
another way
It's-
to
It's before you give up, because you said you give up when you're asked to evict the guy, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's before that. It's
No, it's
literally
right before that.
Yeah, it leads to that. Like once you file the report, they ask you to evict him.
no, my main money making scheme in that game was selling the cameras.
Like the main like issue with the game for me personally was actually the gameplay, and that is that, as Nick pointed out, it's really cool, you know, and then it's like there's not much to it. In my opinion, you guys are talking about the money problem, but what I find is, for me, it's got like a kind of, you know, that sort of Final Fantasy or RPG thing where like at the start you're kind of stretched for cash. You know, you want to like get all the fancy gear at the next shop, but you don't quite have enough, and then at the later on, you just have all the monies.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that
See,
for me.
I wouldn't mind it if it was like you have to choose what option you want, like for the son or the daughter. But the fact is, you can't get enough for the daughter.
Yeah, I'm curious to know what is actually the best way to play. That's the reason why I played it twice, was because I lost everything in the first playthrough, and I was like, maybe I didn't do something
Like,
right.
I sacrificed my son's future to save my daughter. And neither worked out, because I just couldn't get the money for the daughter.
Yeah, because like the daughter's storylines end like it's like a 20,000 payment, isn't it?
Yeah,
Or something like that.
It's
Like,
just
that's like the
it's
last payment.
basically
you need to make.
impossible to get.
Like they slowly just keep ramping up those payments, and it seems kind of unfair. Like it seems unless you're playing perfectly and like know exactly what to do, it's fucking near impossible to like get the best ending for your son and your daughter.
But is that the whole like theme of this like world? Is like, oh, just because you're doing all the right things, like doesn't mean you're going to get the happy ending. Like like from the art style to everything else, you know, it does. It seems like that is the theme here of like, yeah, this world kind of fucking sucks.
Yeah,
Kind of fucking
that's
sucks.
actually a very good point Hans makes. I think the reason why it's so steep is probably because, and this is the issue, one of the other issues with the game, is that it presents itself kind of like, oh, you should replay this game. Because, you know, there's multiple endings, there's, you know, this, and that. But then, at the end of the day, it's very scripted. And so you're not actually making, like each playthrough is not different.
Yeah, you're just replaying it to get the better ending. You're not
So, like, this
replaying
is
it
one
to
of the
get
things-
a different ending.
When I finished my first playthrough, I had like Ira and I were talking, and I was like, oh, so I assumed you would get certain story people like every time you played the game, but there would still be like randomly generated like other tenants coming through. But I said no, that's not the case. Like everyone is tightly scripted. Like you're always going to have these tenants to choose from at this time,
Yeah.
which kind of
And
feels like
there is no random tenants, because you could have
Yeah.
empty apartments and no one wants to come.
yeah, like it feels almost too tightly scripted for the type of game it is. Like for a game that like it has multiple endings and it's always going to be kind of, and they do probably want you to play through it again. It seems far too tightly scripted to actually really encourage that.
Also, it becomes a bit too convenient for like the people that move in, because
Oh, how very
It's-
special your apartment is?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's
because
pretty
it's
nuts.
like, oh, you have this general who happened to massacre an entire village who people want to kill moving in, and then you happen to have an undercover operative moving in and a foreign spy moving. It's like, why your apartment block? Why are all these dodgy people coming to your?
And why do you know they're a foreign? Wait, does it actually say in like their tenant thing that they are a foreign spy?
No, you
Well,
find
you-
out those
you-
kind of
you
things.
can
Yeah,
talk.
you'll
Okay,
find out.
because I was about to say, could you imagine flicking through that? I'm like, foreign spy. Like, maybe not gonna let him into my building.
Well, I found out something about one of the tenants. It was the. Did you get as far as getting the doctor in house?
Yes, he was. Well, he's the very first tenant. You can kind of. Well, he's one of the first
Yeah,
tenants
yeah,
you can bring
yeah,
in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Did
Choice
you get
of
the
two.
quest to find him a woman?
No, I thought he had a wife.
Nope.
No.
Well,
His,
there's a-
his
there-
quest
there-
is to find him a woman.
No, I did not get that quest.
Did you call the phone number?
No, I
Oh.
used the niece of the couple in apartment 3.
Oh, okay.
They said they had a niece. So a woman arrived and said she was a niece. So she moved in with the doctor. And I went and spoke to the couple in apartment 3, and they're like, that's not my niece. So it turned out she was a woman who was wanted for poisoning people and murdering people. And it came up in her profile, criminal, but it wasn't an illegal thing. It was just in her profile.
That's weird.
I think that's actually one of the good things in that, like, there were actually a lot more options than I thought. Although nothing's randomized, there are actually quite a few interactions.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to go with things.
Like there's one where I was able to get a person's daughter to kill their own mother.
Yep.
Yeah.
I did that as well.
Fuck yeah.
But then there's other
But I
ways you can
still
go
think,
about
like,
it. Like,
It's nice that there are different branching paths for all these stories, but at the same time, like these stories are happening every single time. Like it would have been nice just for some like random elements to be happening.
yeah, like it's not. It is a shame. There's so much. There's some really good ideas in this.
It has a lot of potential. It's just, well, like the thing I found is since people can just turn around and shoot you in the face.
I don't actually
once
mind
you-
that because it.
Well, I mind it because once you engage in dialogue that leads to you getting killed, you can't leave it. You have to be killed.
But then
Well, you shouldn't have
just
said that.
reload and don't talk to him.
Yeah. And then that's another issue. You can just leave someone there standing, like the rebel leader. I
Yeah,
betrayed
like,
the rebel
I had
leader,
that,
and
like-
he just stood outside my apartment block
Yeah.
until the end of the game.
Yeah, like that happened to me as well. Like I talked to him the first time because there's an exclamation mark over his head, like assuming he's going to give me a quest. And no, he just shoots you and you die, and then like that's game over. But if you reload the game, like he never actually disappears.
Yeah, he
Like
just
he
stands
just
there.
stands there.
and, like, you can't do anything about him, which was weird because you'd think you'd be able to get him arrested because he's standing outside your apartment block.
And like something like that kind of makes sense if I know it'd be a real like scumbag thing to do, but if it was permadeath and you couldn't reload your game,
Yeah, that's
like
whenever
that'd
really
be
bad.
nice. Like because then you know, all right, in the future. But if you can just reload your game and know, I don't need to talk to him now, it's a bit weird.
I did appreciate though how it felt like there wasn't, besides money, there wasn't much point of doing everything. But then whenever you get to the end of the game, it does actually reveal a purpose behind doing things.
Yeah.
Because it has a very, let's call it a Persona-esque ending of everyone at the end who you helped will help you. Kind of. Which I think is really cool, actually. I think that's actually
So,
a
like,
really cool way.
Anyone you've kind of like helped in a positive way, like try to like pretty much reveals themselves at the end of the game and like will try to help you back in some way. Like whether it just be, this guy's going to give you like a massive windfall of cash, or like he'll like be a trigger in a different quest or something.
But it like lowers the amount it costs to immigrate,
Yeah.
which is I think really interesting. I don't know, like there's so many
Yeah,
things
I helped loads of people, but I didn't get any of that. Although I only helped the government people, so that's maybe why.
That's possibly why.
But I do like though, like how it is, you're playing for your family, the government, and the
Your tenants.
resistance,
Oh, yeah.
and it's like it is interesting. It's just the actual gameplay element is just kind of dull after a wee bit.
I felt the ending I got was massively disappointing as well.
My ending was alright.
My ending was great.
It was
fine.
better than I was in some
No,
aspects.
yeah,
and worse
it
than I was
depends
in
how you
some
want to look at
aspects.
it. Yeah.
So another area I think actually is probably the highest point of the game is like the aesthetic of it. I think it does have actually a really nice art style, because I think it really suits the theme of the game. Like everyone being these kind of nondescript black blobs, kind of like suits the idea that you are in this like government or this communist regime, and how you're just like another cog in this system.
I have something nice to say.
Oh, makes a change.
Right. I actually think the look and feel of the game is fucking unreal. I think it actually, like, the art style is really skillfully done. Somehow it's both kind of cute, almost, but also manically depressing. Like, the art style, there's something almost creepy about it, but at the same time you are kind of like, oh, it actually looks kind of cute, like with all their blobby little faces and features and stuff. But yeah, I think it does. I think the art style alone brings across the entire world so well. But every time I look at the people, I just think Limbo. That guy looks like the kid from Limbo if he aged by 40 years.
No, I quite like the wee art style. The music reminded me of This War of Mine. It was very similar, and like it just added to the.
There was music.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I don't think
Exactly,
I
Nick.
ever really noticed. Which to be fair, maybe is kind of what you want. Like if it's, there's kind of two ways to look at music. It can either be like decent enough that you don't notice it, or good enough that you notice it, or bad enough that you notice it. Whereas
Well,
not noticing it is maybe a decent, or is not a terrible thing.
not necessarily. Like when it comes to soundtracks and stuff, really you should be noticing it. It's the sound effects is what you don't want to notice. If sound effects are done well, you shouldn't notice them because it's just like real life. You're desensitized to the noises in real life. But if a soundtrack, you should be like, oh fuck yeah, this sounds awesome, or
no,
man,
no,
this is so
the-
depressing.
See, what I think, like, it's maybe just that, like, when you're just playing the game and not noticing the music, but like when obviously like when the police arrive and all, there's like stings in the music.
Mm.
So I remember that stuff. It's just maybe the
Ba 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 ba.
like the core gameplay music. I'm not really remember. Oh, I do remember you saying you weren't a massive fan of the art style.
I'm very hit and miss with it. I don't know. I think it was just because like sitting there playing it, I think it is like really nice presentation wise. It was just, I think there were just moments where I couldn't quite remember what this guy looked like in relation to his wee little icon on the wee on your wee list. So I think it was just that bit. Like you get used to it, but no, I think it is like as a whole the presentation is very good. But I guess whenever you literally only have to design one screen, you'd hope.
Well, for a game where you're obeying a government that's controlling the people and bringing everyone into the same kind of life, everyone lives the same life. Getting people mixed up, probably what they want.
Yeah, no, you're right.
You don't want people to have that much standing out.
And
so,
it is nice having...
It was genius, but I mean, it wasn't really...
Didn't help the gameplay.
Yeah. Great from a theme standpoint, poor from a gameplay standpoint.
Yeah, but I mean,
I feel like that's the common trend of this of this thing, which is fine. It's fine.
So, one thing I want to bring up about the aesthetic is the game does a good job of feeling grim and bleak, but to harp back to Papers, Please. Papers, Please did a thing like if you did a good deed for someone, like you'd sometimes get like a trinket or like a picture, and it would hang up in your booth, and like it's compared to everything else in the game, it was usually pretty colorful, or like it would actually have a decent amount of color to it compared to just being like grey, and like it'd be actually really nice to get something like this in Beholder, because like if you save, obviously the first set of quests is like, oh, that guy Carl Schrimmer, like, and if you get him out, he gives you a teddy bear for your daughter. And it would have been really nice, like, if you gave your daughter that teddy bear, like, you actually see it sit up in your flat, and, like, just make it a bit brighter and everything else, so, like, oh, like, there are reasons I'm doing this stuff.
Or even if she played with it.
Yeah, but, like, something like that to, like, kind of give you a bit of hope.
Yeah.
Would have been, like,
a
nice
I think he makes a very good point there, actually, because I'm pretty sure I never see that teddy bear. Like, you give it to her, and there's, like, one line of dialogue, and that's it. That's just, I did a good thing, guys, and that's it. I completely forgot that was the
there's very little like on-screen reward.
Yeah, like you're doing all these things, and, like you're maybe doing all these good deeds, but you're not really seeing rewards for it. Apart from maybe like your money goes up.
Yeah, it's all. It's a number.
I suppose it ties into at the end where that's maybe your reward is like when they start to help you further on in the game. I know there's no immediate satisfaction from that, but in the long term, maybe that's what they're going for. Is that they want you to feel like, oh, well, I did this and that's nice, but you don't really see the results of your labor until further down the line.
Because in Papers, Please, it was pretty awesome. Like, do you know the scene in The Simpsons where like Homer covers up the like thing in his workplace to say do it for her?
Yes,
like it's almost like that.
That's a very
in
sweet
Papers,
moment.
Please. And like it'd be really nice to, like, Beholder could have used something like that to say, all right, I'm doing all these good deeds for a reason. Like I'm betraying my government for a reason.
I think and another thing is actually that is the time frame of the game's very odd for all these things to happen.
It's a month, isn't it?
Mine was like 2 weeks.
It's not even, I don't think. It's a lot shorter than you think it is.
It depends how quickly you go through all the like.
How the hell was yours 2 weeks?
Like it just depends how quickly you go through all the quests.
Oh no! It is all timed. That I think is actually that's.
I feel like mine was like, I'd say at most mine was 20 days.
Because I read that, because I think it was when I was looking up problems that Alex had. I think I found like a post and said that even the quests you didn't take, the time limits are still ticking.
Oh.
So that must mean that everything is set. It's just how long it takes for you to get there, which is maybe why you had moments of not doing anything, because either one, you didn't have any quests, or two, you did them all so fast that there wasn't anything. But
because I feel like obviously when you submit reports on people, like you have to say, oh, the directives from this date. I felt like I never saw a directive past about 21 or 22. Like the
directives slowed right down towards the end.
Yeah, like that's what made me think maybe it's just because at a point like you don't get any new directives or anything, and like it's just like, oh, the game's waiting for you to start finishing quests, like this, see the end of the game. Like they didn't plan out, like again, they didn't plan out stuff like randomly generated directives to pad out the bits where they hadn't got specific ones.
I really don't like games that give you a time limit on every quest.
The state expects like
I know, but it was like, it's not just this game. It's the same with Dead Rising. I like Dead Rising gameplay was good fun, but the fact that you're time limited on everything takes away from the enjoyment of it, I think. I don't mind a time quest every now and then, because they can add suspense.
That's the reason with Dead Rising, though. Like, the whole thing with Dead Rising is they want you to kind of feel it because of the time. Because you're meant to be getting better and better at it, and like carrying your character through multiple saves.
But games are supposed to be fun, and I feel like that takes away from the fun.
Yeah, some people find that fun.
What sort of fucked up motherfucker would find that fun?
There are
same ones who grind.
The reason there is 4 Dead Rising games is how some people find that fun.
Yeah.
But the 4th one doesn't have it.
Yeah, well, the first 3 did.
It's the same people who do the Gears of War kill 100,000 things, or
like the genocide achievement.
Every single zombie in the game in Dead Rising. There's people that do it.
But is it not a very it feels to me it would not be a very niche crowd for that.
Put it this way. The 4th Dead Rising game doesn't have all that stuff and has been the worst critically received one.
I don't know. I just don't. I really don't let. No, I just.
I think it's a preference thing at the end of the day.
It's a preference thing, but like some people, like there are people who like that. Like I do, I like it. Like, if I had more time, I'd happily dedicate and fucking blast through a Dead Rising game.
Like you just 100% did Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah,
we're talking about more
that's
time.
Like one of my favorite games ever.
I think time stuff is a game to game thing though. Like I think it's absolutely fine for this game.
Yeah, because
I think it all depends on why you're being timed. Like
if you look at it, like if there was no time stuff in this game, you could literally just sit there and grind out. Like as Alex said, just keep grinding reputation points and selling stuff, and like those ones where you have to your son wants $7,500. Those wouldn't be an issue because you could just sit there and grind it out.
But I'm not saying put a time limit on none of them. Like I think the one where your daughter gets sick and stuff, put a time limit on that because that makes sense because she's got a set amount of time left to live. But I mean that along the lines of like, okay, this guy needs to be evicted. Well, what's the rush in evicting him? Like he's not. It's the first one, Carl. What is it? Shimmer. Like he wants the government. Yeah, we want this guy evicted. Though technically he's not done anything illegal at that point. They just want him evicted. So why is there a rush on getting him evicted?
Well, they want them arrested, preferably.
Well, they say we want him out, whether it's via arrested or blackmail or just him leaving. They were like,
but half the time, but some of them were never issues. Like,
well, there was a lot of quests in that game that weren't timed.
Yeah, there are a lot that actually aren't timed. But even like the only ones I ever found issues with the timing was those two, like the money ones.
Was the big ones?
Like, we're like, your daughter wants fucking 10 grand for medicine.
What?
Like,
I hope it wasn't 10 grand, Nick.
At one point it is it not?
No, it's 20.
No. Well, it starts low and then gets out.
No,
builds out.
No, it's
does it not?
No. Remember,
straight 20.
Yeah, remember Nick.
And the son wants 15 grand.
Oh yeah. So the final thing I want to say is like, obviously, this is actually kind of a game where everyone's kind of experience might be a bit different. So I want to bring up because you said before that you do enjoy these types of games where everyone kind of does have their own stories to tell about it.
Yes, that is true.
Because I actually went back and rewatched Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time episode, and you said that exact quote.
I'll take your word for it, Nick.
Research.
But yes, that does sound like something I would say.
So, like, I told Aoi this story. I had a situation where I reported someone, because I can't remember why I reported them, I think I just wanted money. And the police came, car pulled up, but at the same time, someone else's story was wrapping up, which involved me going to get her a gun and giving it to her because she thought her ex-husband was going to come and try and kill her. That was fine, no problem. So the police turn up, go to arrest this guy. At the same time, her ex-husband comes up, goes to her door, and she shoots him right beside the police. Police don't do anything, just go get the other guy, and then they drag out the dead body and put it in the police car, and then drag her out and put it in the police car.
Multitasking.
So I'm just like standing there like, what the fuck just happened? Suddenly I'm like down 2 residents.
Yeah, I had a situation where the moment whenever Mr. Sailor guy shot me in the face, I think there were a couple of moments where all of your tenants come out to the ground floor hallway.
Yeah,
because there's
usually if like one of those like riots is about to run past or something.
So everyone was gathered, and the guy literally shot me in front of everyone. But the problem I had, I was able to fix it because I had a previous save, but the autosave. The game had saved during the riot, which was during me getting shot. So whenever I would reload it, I would be getting shot, which I think was a slight flaw, a slight flaw in the system. But it was fine. I was able to just
Go back
reload like the previous save, so it was all right. But yeah.
So Alec, describe some of these bugs to us.
Do you want me to go through my
should we start with Hans
epic
first?
story?
If Hans already has like 2.
Alright, yeah, sure.
Okay, so the first one I don't know if it's a bug or not, but how much time did you get for the Carl Shimmer thing?
Like a good few days.
It's a long time.
Well, like roughly how many hours? Just try and remember if you can.
I'd say upwards of 50.
Yeah.
Okay, 248.
What difficulty did you play on?
No, the regular one.
And
I got 248 hours. Why did I get 200? How long is that?
10 days.
What? That doesn't seem right to me.
And you're complaining about time things? You've plenty of time.
That's a fucking
Yeah, you've
bug.
actually got
That's
quite a lot
why.
of time to do that.
I don't understand why it popped. I use this like why. is it
I'm not classing that as a
248
bug in the scale of my bugs, Hans. So what's the next
Yeah,
one?
that's not a bug. That's just maybe you did something quicker than someone else, and because obviously there is some untimed things.
So, what was the other one? I had people stuck indoors that I couldn't talk to.
Yeah, that
That
happens.
happened. That
Yeah.
happened quite a lot.
That happened quite a lot, and there was another issue of me not being able to talk to someone, which kind of screwed me over.
I also hit a point at dead end in the quest with the Carl Shimmer thing. So if I was trying to do the good guy thing of helping him try and escape the country.
Mm-hmm.
So what you do is you get the sailor guy as a tenant.
Yeah.
And he says, right, I can take him across.
I've got
this
space on my boat.
Yeah, but you have to pay him money.
Yes.
Whenever I paid him, so I can't remember exactly, but you pay him money and then he's supposed to go away and he says, oh, I only got half the money, you have to give me another lot or something like that.
Yes, because he gives you like a bunch of canned food, and he's like, oh, someone will sell these on for me.
Yeah.
But you give him to the trader, and you talk to the trader, and he's like, oh, I only managed to get like half the money you expected, and then he's all pissed off.
Yeah. So whenever I got to the whole pissed off thing, that was it.
Well, you pissed them off.
I couldn't further any more dialogue.
Did you give him the money? Because I think your options at that point are you either talk him down with your reputation, you pay him the rest of the money out of your own pocket, or he just stays annoyed at you and doesn't help you.
No, he stayed annoyed at me, and like every time I went and talked to him after that, it was the repeated dialogue of, "Oh, here's the money. This isn't enough." Blah blah blah. Every time I went back to him after that, it was only that. It was only the option to give him the money again. If that makes sense. Like, so I was in a constant loop. It would not further the dialogue after that. I couldn't give him any more money from my pocket. I couldn't do any dialogue checks, and I don't know. Well, I couldn't keep him mad at me. Whatever, you know what I mean? Like I was just in a constant dialogue loop.
Well, Hans, let me tell you about my experience with bugs. Here's my list. So, my first attempt, the shop button disappeared, and I couldn't buy anything.
That's an issue.
What?
That's an issue.
My second attempt was I got stuck in apartment 1 with iWise bug.
Mm-hmm.
I got caught in there and I couldn't interact with the door, but I could open the mailbox.
Nice.
My third attempt, I got arrested instead of the drug dealer for drug possession.
Fair enough.
Playthrough 4, right? I can't interact with the boss at the start of the game.
Oh, okay.
Wow, that's like right out
Attempt
of the gate.
5, I was able to talk to the boss, but I couldn't open any journal pages. So that was a bit of an issue.
Yep.
And also the escape menu wouldn't open, so I had to Control Alt Delete out of that game. And then attempt 6, I was getting the drug dealer arrested. Alright. Then the police came down and arrested me for negligence, even though I had time left on the quest and I was doing the family quest. So I don't know why I got arrested there. But attempt 7 was my actual one. So there we go. It took me 7 attempts and 2 hours to actually play the game.
See, I'm so unsure what to think about Alex's bugs.
Yeah, like
There's so many that I
we've talked
fear...
about this before. Like Alex, whenever we all played like kind of the same game, Alex always has the worst experience bug wise.
I think it's just I'm unlucky.
I think it's just you have a broken PC and refuse to admit it. I think you have slightly.
My PC has been checked recently. It is fine.
I don't think it's unluckiness.
I think it's
I think there is a deeper issue here that you refuse to acknowledge.
No, it's just all the components are fine. Everything's working as intended in my computer.
But it is odd, though. Do you not think though, Alex? Like, it's just a little
Well,
bit.
why doesn't it happen in any other game then?
It happened in Dark Souls. You always claimed you had a super buggy experience.
We didn't play that on Game
Yeah.
Club. So
you know what I mean?
Like,
but
that
any
was
any
on a
game we all
different
play
computer,
together.
Nick. That was on a different computer.
But that's something that, like, I think saying that everything else works is a very poor thing, though, because I had an issue, right? And I can admit that whenever I think it was like Street Fighter 5 was coming out, and I was on my computer, I had a RAM issue. I don't know what it was.
You were playing.
I was playing everything else fine.
Well at the same time.
Yeah, everything else was fine.
No, you're playing MGS5
How
and it was having the
does
same issue.
my computer not working? Explain any of those.
Because
when I did it again, it worked perfectly fine.
Because sometimes I got different bugs when he was playing MGS5, like it broke in different ways.
Yeah, and then it turned out I just had to change one bit and it was fine. Took a long time before I worked it out, but
computers are fickle things, Alex.
Yeah, but I didn't change anything, Nick. That's what I'm saying. I didn't change anything. But on my 7th attempt, it worked flawlessly.
I think you should get a new PC.
I don't think you should go that far.
No, my PC is very expensive.
It's fine. You don't have to play it ever again. It's fine. It's fine.
Until the next game that fucks up, it's fine. It's fine.
But I didn't have an issue with Undertale Contradiction or Final Fantasy. I didn't have an issue with Mass Effect Alan Wake. I had a massive issue with Ghostbusters, but that was the game.
Oh.
So I mean,
here,
guess my top 4 list is fucking changing then, Alex, isn't it?
Actually, whenever Alex was mentioning about him getting arrested and shot instead, right? Nick, why don't you tell the story about you trying to get your own daughter arrested?
Oh, okay, yeah.
I actually heard this from my bedroom the other day. That's how loud you were about it, Nick.
It was pretty funny. So it was like the last stage of the quest, like, oh, your daughter needs fucking God knows how much money. I was like, you know what I'm going to do instead? She's reading a book. I'm going to report her for it because fuck that. If she's going to be sick, she's not going to die in my house. So that was fine. I phoned the police, or filed a report, and it came up saying children under the age of 14 cannot be reported. I was like, alright, I just got fined, whatever, that's fine. And then I got a phone call about 5 minutes later from the government saying I'm being arrested due to negligence and got arrested.
At least you weren't killed.
So yeah, you can't report your own daughter. You can report your son because he's over 14 though.
Can we talk about actually with the endings essentially?
Yeah, I was going to say we'll discuss the endings and then we'll move on.
Don't worry, Hans. We'll talk to you in a wee bit.
It's alright. I'll surf the internet or something.
So the way the endings are kind of set up, there's 3 scenes, so to speak. You have your government or the state of the country scene, the state of the war scene, and state of your family scene.
State of your family, mate.
Yeah, essentially. So I was lucky enough to watch iWise to compare it with my own. His country was in a much better state, but my family was in a much better state. So I got to the end of the game, and my son's girlfriend was shot at the border when they tried to escape. So this led to my son basically becoming a rebel, and I sent him to a correctional facility where he comes back essentially brainwashed. Basically saying, the Great Leader is so amazing, I love the Great Leader, when are we going to go see the Great Leader? And stuff like this. So that was fine. At a point, he, in the ending cutscene, it's he willingly runs off from the battlefield to join the war. And, Carl and his wife are like, oh, thank fuck, he's gone. And they're like, oh, they just vowed to never have any more kids in this shitty country. But in theory, I had 3 people alive at the end of the game.
Yeah,
but my country wasn't ruined. The government was still pretty strong.
My ending, the country was in a better place, because the resistance wins, and new government is put up. But I think the war's still going on in mine, from what we can tell.
This was the difference from mine, where basically the scene in mine said, oh, both armies kind of realized how fucking futile it was, and both armies staged a coup and deserted the battlefield. So like in my game.
Oh wait,
the
maybe I did
country-
get that actually. That sounds really familiar, actually. But either way,
No.
war never changes. War never changes, right?
Yeah, well, you got the achievement called War Never Changes. I didn't, so we got different endings.
Oh, you know what? Let's see what that achievement is, right? But yes,
Yeah, I
but
got that achievement.
But my family, so the ending is that Carl has nothing. He is rich, but he has no family. Because in my game, the daughter died, the wife died, but the son lives, but is not in the flat. The son instead.
You sent him on a cruise, didn't you?
Yes, I sent him away where after you finish the doctor's quest, he gives you cruise tickets.
Yes.
And
one
I
of
gave-
the outcome, yeah, one of the outcomes gives you cruise tickets.
Yes, and so I gave them to my son because the son, I think, wants to.
He wants to leave the country.
Yes, he wants to leave the country, to go to North Korea. But I was like, here, look, take these cruise tickets, and go. And it's actually, I think, the best ending for the son because the son actually sends you letters saying how great it is over there, over wherever he picked to go. So I think the son's ending for me was the best, but everything else was just shit for the family.
My country ending was the resistance got absolutely annihilated,
Yeah.
and all the members were arrested.
Yeah, that's pretty much mine.
The war continued for decades. Was mine. And the family was very inconclusive. So, the wife was still there, and they both became mega rich. The daughter had died, but the son, I'd given the money to move to the north, and he went there, but his fate is never revealed.
Yeah, you lose contact with him.
Well, no, because he sends you a letter.
Oh, okay.
He sends you a letter and says, no, this isn't the country I thought it was, take me back. And then, like, you don't hear from him again, and that's it.
So is there not? Because I remember him saying like, "Oh, I'm going to go to North Korea,"
Yeah.
and then does Carl not say something? Do you not mean South Korea?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Presumably
Yep.
meaning Korea.
Yep.
So presumably he immigrates to another communist country by accident.
Yep. And
if he goes,
that's worse.
if he goes, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and
arguably
he
worse.
does. He spends the 20 grand and goes there. And at the end, it doesn't even mention the son. It just says they vow never to have kids again.
Part of me wants to know what like the perfect ending kind of looks like how hopeful it all seems.
Well, it's
Like-
it's gonna be just resistance wins, war's
Yeah.
over, and everyone's
All your
alive.
family's alive. Yeah. So all in all, negative to middling on Beholder, I'd say.
Say mixed. Let's go.
Yeah, we'll go with mixed. Some promising ideas. Some very promising ideas, just maybe not as well executed as they could have been. However, that is the end of this round of Game Club, which means it is time to...
Well, yeah, we're not all going to do a summary.
No, I usually just do the summary.
No,
No, we
you
usually go like-
you went through all of us.
You usually go, Hads, what about you? What's the final? say
I?
on this?
Yeah, you did,
Yes!
that, you did that last one.
Did I?
Yep.
Oh,
8
right.
episodes, Nick.
It's
8
your
fucking
bloody
episodes.
show. How do you not know this?
I thought I usually just wrap it up.
No,
I'm
you always
convinced I
go-
usually just wrap it up.
No,
I
you always
think-
go
Well,
around
do-
this and ask
You do
for...
at the end, you always go, Hans, what did you think? Alex, what do you think? What did you think? Yeah, no, I think that's right. Blah, 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 blah. So thanks very much, and then let's get on to the next game of the month. Like, that's what they usually do.
Like, I think we can just agree that it has some amazing themes and settings, but the gameplay really let it down.
Yeah.
I think that's all that needs to be said.
It has so much potential. It's just poorly executed.
Some of us dislike the gameplay a lot more than others.
If there's a sequel, it could be pretty good.
Eh.
To wrap up this round of Game Club, we will continue with the tradition and rank the 4 games we've played, or 2 in IY's case.
Woo!
So I will begin from the bottom. I will preface this before anyone crucifies me by saying I'm going by my enjoyment of when I played them this time. So like, I'm not taking into
Oh,
past
so Final
experiences.
Fantasy VII's at the bottom now.
Yeah, I can feel this. Yeah.
No, so number 4 is Contradiction Spot the Liar.
Oh, nice.
Because I enjoyed Contradiction far more when I watched the Giant Bomb playthrough of it than when I played it myself. Probably because I had seen it all before.
So it's your own fault.
Yeah, it is my own fault I didn't enjoy Contradiction as much as I could have.
That seems fair.
Like, if I had played it for the first time, it probably would be higher. But just because I had watched the Jam Bomb play it and I'd like knew all the twists and turns and basically the jokes. So number 3 is Beholder. I think it's a middling game with a lot of promise. Number 2 is Final Fantasy VII. Because this is probably the most enjoyable playthrough of Final Fantasy VII I've ever had. Like, I enjoyed it much more now than I ever have playing it before. And number 1 is Undertale. Because that is fucking just such an incredible game. So good. Still quite possibly one of my favourite games I've ever played. Mr. Hans Davis.
Okay, so number 4 is Beholder.
Oh, what a shock.
Why you got your wish.
That is a success in my book.
It's just not my game. We knew this going into this. I wasn't looking forward to playing it. Whenever you said I'm not going to like it, whenever you said it was like Papers, Please, I was like, yeah, fuck that noise. It's just not my game. Not my bag, bruh. Number 3, Undertale. You can argue that I played it wrong, fine, whatever. But I find it frustrating.
There's no argument you did.
Find it frustrating. Just story was great and there was nice touches to it, but in terms of just enjoyment, pure enjoyment of the game, I just didn't really get
You
there.
really hindered yourself, yeah, we know.
Number 2, Final Fantasy VII. Again, I'm doing this list on the idea of just like how much I enjoyed it. So the problem with like Final Fantasy VII was I enjoyed it for big chunks, but there was times I had to get frustrated with it, or maybe even slightly bored. So number 1 was Contradiction, but that's because it was it was just as long as it needed to be, and I enjoyed it throughout the entirety of that short time. Like, it was only like a couple of hours long, but in that couple of hours I did not get sick of it or frustrated with it or anything at all. I just enjoyed it for those complete 2 hours. Same reason like I like the first Evil Land, because like it's as long as it needs to be, and you can enjoy it in that very short time period. So yeah, that's my list.
Mr. Alex Bradford.
At number 4 for me, I have to put Beholder. It, like I said, it has all the potential, just poorly executed. Number 3, going to be a shock, Final Fantasy VII.
Wow.
Whoa. I almost choked my water there.
That's how shocking it was.
What happened? The favourite game of all time?
It is my favourite game of all time, but
Clearly it's not. It's not even your favourite
thing
game of the
is-
last 4 months.
I've played it that many times.
I
I
have
feel
now
like-
realised Air sucks.
No, I feel like if I was to put this number 1, it would be a disservice to the other games that we played. Mainly because they're more recent and I feel like they deserve more credit. So number 3, Final Fantasy VII. Number 2, I have Undertale. I actually really enjoyed Undertale. Quite a fun wee game when played correctly. And number 1, obviously, Contradiction. Probably the best game we've played so far. Such a fun wee game.
Mr. Aoi Chung, your list of 2, please.
My list of 2, which is unfortunate. So in number 2, right? I would say Beholder.
Oh, damn, I was hoping you'd say Final Fantasy.
Sorry, before we get to this.
Unfortunately,
This is kind of like IOI's fucking Game of the Year list all over again. Top 4! I only did 2, guys, sorry.
Yeah, just for the reasons already said. It's great potential, great theme, but gameplay not great. And also because there's only 2 games, and it shows Final Fantasy VII is number 1, just because it was, like with Nick, the most fun I've had with Final Fantasy VII, and it was nice to actually finish the damn thing. So, but I'm gutted though, because I feel like Undertale might have actually been the game for me.
Yeah, I still feel like you should go play Undertale.
Yeah.
Like,
So
completely removed from everything.
stay tuned, guys, because maybe this list of 2 will be a list of 3.
Because, like, yeah, look at it this way. If you can play Undertale before the end of the next round, we'll allow you to put it into your top 5 of that year.
Yeah, that's true.
If it's with my humble monthly bundle, right? You know, but yeah.
final bit of business is for me to announce my pick for March's Game Club. I had about 3 or 4 different picks at one point, and have finally come to the conclusion, using Hans's logic of I'm going to pick something that is quite popular in gaming press these days.
That's not my logic, man. It's just relevance.
Yeah, well, it's relevant in gaming press. Whatever. Relevant in the news. With the release of its 7th game in the series, I've decided to take us back to where it all began. With Resident Evil 1.
Oh, why?
I'm not playing that.
What the fuck is wrong with
Wow. Wow.
I
So,
can't play that shit. I can't look at that shit.
Why not?
My brother's a big Resident Evil fan, and so I've literally watched him play through like all of them loads, and I remember what that first game looks like.
So, no, but this is what I'm going to say. So, there are 3 versions of this game out there. There is the original PlayStation version, the remake on the GameCube, and the HD version of that remake. Any version. Because I think it'd actually be nice if we all played different versions, like kind of like how we did with Final Fantasy. We all kind of played it in different places. So I will say any version. So if you want to play that HD remake, because that's what I'm going to be doing. So if that changes your decision whether you want to play it or not, that's fine.
Hope you like a top 3 next time.
So, but yes, that is it for February's edition of the Not So Super Bash Bros. Presents Game Club. So it is a goodbye from Hans.
Go fuck yourself.
It's a goodbye from Alex.
When was the last time any of us were happy about this?
Final Fantasy. No, you said Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah,
Contradiction.
I disagreed with that choice, yeah.
Contradiction.
Alright, yeah.
It's a goodbye from Iowa. And a goodbye from me. See you next time.
You're a piece of shit. You're an actual piece of shit.